Alright, moving on to our finishing out the solutions for the Master Quiz 9 review. Starting on 14 here, we have this function. It takes x, y, and changes the sign on both the x and the y. By the way, that's a 180-degree rotation. So if you were to take any point, you really just throw it on the other side. Or you just think of the coordinates, like the coordinates here are 2, 1. When you change the order, change the signs on it, so 2, 1 is going to become -2, -1, which is going to be right there. And if you take this point, change the sign on that, it's -2, 0, so it becomes +2, 0. And then this one is at 1, -3. Change the signs, -1, +3. Gives you this point here. Connect that up, and it's the same triangle, just rotate around the origin 180 degrees. Moving on to 15, this one's awfully similar to 13. Your y's are going to stay the same this time though, and the x's are going to change signs. So the height of everything, like it has a height of 4, it's going to stay the same. The x value though is going to change the other side. So if you look at this point, it has a x value of 4, so the new x value is going to be -4, but still have the same height. This had an x value of -2, so the new x value is going to be +2. And that's going to be the same for these 2 points. You can get -4 and +2. And once you have that, you can connect it up. And you really just have that same rectangle. It's just reflected over the y-axis. And that brings us to 16. Take x, y. This one says change the order and then change the sign on your new first coordinate. That is a 90-degree rotation, by the way. Let's look at this point. Let's start one point at a time. That's the point 1, 6. I need to change the order of those coordinates to get 6, 1. I need to change the sign on the first one. So I'm looking at -6, +1. Gives me this point here. And then let's look at this point, which is at 2, -3. I need to change the order, which is going to give me -3, 2. And I need to change the sign of the first one, so I'm looking at +3, 2. Give me that point there. And we got one last point to move. That one, which is at -6, 3. I need to change the order and change the sign. So that's on the first one, it's going to give me -3, -6. So I go -3 and -6, and there's my new vertex, and I have all 3. Connect those up, and you have your figure, which has been rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. Alright, so on the rest of the section here, we're writing a rule to describe each transformation. When it's saying rule, that's a function. So this one is reflecting over this line right here, which is line y equals -2. The function that would do that would be xy goes to x's all stay the same. You need to take the y coordinate, switch the sign on it, and then add double this number. That number is -2, so you're going to add -4. You could have also written just subtract 4 instead of add -4. But anyway, that gives you a function right there. 18. This one is looking like it's been rotated around 180 degrees. So that function is going to be xy goes to change the sign on both of them. And -x, -y, and that function's done. 19, this one's looking like I started one place and just moved everything to the right one. So to change everything to the right one, you're going to take xy and go to x plus 1, that makes it go right one, and then y. So shift to right one, y's don't change. On 20, it's looking like I have this figure here, and it's been rotated to be there. So this is a 90-degree clockwise rotation, which if you write the function, you're going to get xy. Every time you do a 90-degree rotation, you have to switch the order of the coordinates, And if you're going to go clockwise, you change the sign on the x value, or the second number for your coordinates. And you get that. 21, this is looking like it's just reflected over my y-axis, which if you're going to do that, you write xy goes to, all your x's are going to go to the other side, so that's why it's negative x. And all your y's stay the same. And that brings us to 22. This one kind of looks like it'd be 180 degree rotation, but something to notice, k is on top, k is still on top, z on bottom, z still on bottom. And so if you do a 180, that's definitely not going to stay the same. It'd be flipped upside down. So this one's just a translation. Up this far, right that far. And that's going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So up 4. And going right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to go right 6. So your function, if you're going to go up 4, right 6, is going to be x, y. Goes to, well, if you want to go up, if you want to go right 6, you're going to change the x's, so x plus 6. And if you're going to go up 4, you need to make all your y's 4 more, so you're going to add 4, and that's your function. And that brings us to 23. We have a figure up here, figure down here, no rotation, no reflection. It's just being moved left 1 and down 3. So these translation functions, you're going to start with xy, take your x's, and since you're going to go left, you're going to subtract how far you go left, which is just 1. And since you're going down, you take all your y values and subtract from them how far you go down, which is 3. And you have your new coordinates. And that brings us to 24. You have xy. This particular shape started with m on top, k on bottom, but at the end result, k was on top, m was on bottom, so this one's got to be either a reflection or a rotation. If it was a reflection, it would just be reflected over the line there, or one of these other horizontal lines, but it's not that way. We had to rotate this guy around, so this is a 180 degree rotation. And if you're going to do that, you're going to change the sign on the x and change the sign on the y, and that function's done. And that's the last of the video.